Your baby is dying inside of you, just like any love I ever had for you is dead. I don't love you, Elena. I never really did. That's what Logan screamed at me. Logan Bennett, my husband, or soon-to-be ex-husband. I sat there in my private hospital room staring at the divorce papers he shoved into my hands while I was still reeling from the news of my 4th miscarriage. My world was unraveling, and he was standing over me, towering, demanding, merciless. Sign them, now, he said. I looked up at him, tried to find a flicker of the man I married in his eyes, but there was nothing, just cold indifference. My hand trembled as I took the pen and signed my name. How did it come to this? Just 2 hours earlier, I was walking through Beverly Hills Hospital, heart already broken by another loss. Another Tuesday. My 4th miscarriage in 6 months. I walked toward the nurse's station like I always did, trying to hold myself together, controlling every step. I wore my simple pearl earrings, my cream cashmere sweater. My hair was in a loose chignon. Everything about me looked perfect on the outside, but inside, I was barely holding it together. 10 months of pretending to be the happy, perfect wife had taken its toll. Brooke, the nurse I'd seen so many times now, greeted me with a soft smile. Mrs. Bennett, everything's ready for you. She hesitated for a moment. I had them bring in fresh flowers, the peonies you mentioned liking last time. I nodded, my throat tight. Thank you. Inside the room, I sat on the bed and just collapsed a little. My mask slipped, just for a second. 4 miscarriages, all on Tuesdays. It felt like Tuesdays hated me. Each one chipped away at my future, my hope, my sense of self. I didn't know who I was anymore. I reached for my phone with a shaking hand. Of course, the call went to voicemail, just like it always did on these days. You've reached Logan Bennett. If this is about the Tokyo merger, contact my office. If this is about the charity gala, contact my assistant. His voice, smooth, professional, and cold, filled the silence of the room. Logan, I whispered. I'm at Cedars again. Same room, same story. My voice broke. Just once, I wish you'd answer. Just once, I wish you'd... I cut myself off. No point in being vulnerable, even in a voicemail. I dialed Kevin next, Logan's assistant. He picked up as monotone as always. Mr. Bennett's office. It's Elena. Tell Logan I'm at Cedars. I stared out the window as I said it. I could see the Bennett building rising like a silver dagger against the sky. Kevin paused. I'll pass along the message, Mrs. Bennett. I lay back on the pillows, my hand instinctively moving to my stomach. The minutes stretched, warped. Hospital rooms always do that. Make time feel elastic, too slow and too fast at once. I counted the peonies. 13. Of course, unlucky number. I almost laughed. Then the door burst open. Logan walked in, every inch the corporate alpha. His suit crisp, his jaw clenched. Not a flicker of concern in his eyes, only irritation. Really, Elena? Today of all days? I looked up, still in character. The perfect wife. I'm sorry, I didn't exactly plan this. His jaw clenched tighter. Let's not do this now. Do what? I'm just lying here losing another baby. Don't let me keep you from anything important. That one hit him. I saw it. He started pacing. Since we're both here, we might as well discuss this. Discuss what? I asked, voice level but heart pounding. Our marriage. He pulled out a stack of papers. This arrangement has run its course. Arrangement? The words stung. My grandfather was very specific. Marriage, heir, company ownership. Simple requirements. I stared at him, stunned. You married me for the company? He didn't even flinch. Of course. Why else would I marry someone like you? No connections, no real value, just a pretty face my grandfather inexplicably trusted. I felt like I couldn't breathe. Even if you had managed to carry a child, he said, I plan to divorce you anyway. Then came the real blow. I don't love you, Elena. I never did. I love Ivy. Ivy, his recovery nurse. Not just my nurse, my girlfriend, since before our wedding. He adjusted his tie. That was always his tell. She understands me, cares about me. I laughed. A broken, hollow sound. Says the man who married for his grandfather's company. He glared. You can't fight this. The prenup is airtight. Take the dignified exit. It's the only thing you have left. Sign them, now. And I did. He scooped up the papers and left, the door clicking shut behind him. I closed my eyes. Am I dreaming? Did that just happen? Divorced in a hospital bed? Moments later, the doctor walked in. Mrs. Bennett? Miss Drake? I opened my eyes and said it firmly. It's Miss Drake now. He blinked but recovered. Oh, excuse me. I have good news. The baby is fine. Just normal first trimester spotting. The baby was fine. I placed my hand on my stomach. Everything inside me was rearranging, shifting, turning to steel. I picked up my phone and dialed. Grayson, Logan and I... It's over. Tell Arthur to release the trust, and have the penthouse ready by tonight. I paused, a smile curling on my lips. No, brother, this isn't like before. This time we're taking everything. As I stood and smoothed my sweater, I felt the movement in my body settle into something sharp, something deliberate. I walked outside. The helicopter's roar greeted me. Marcus, my security guard, helped me in. Take me home, but circle the Bennett building on the way. My hand rested on my belly. Baby's first lesson. Revenge takes time. As we circled the Bennett building in the helicopter, I stared at the mirrored glass, watching my reflection flicker. I didn't see the woman Logan left behind. I saw someone new, someone dangerous. The helicopter descended toward the Drake estate, the grounds immaculate, the hedges perfectly manicured, the water features trying too hard to look effortless. Everything screamed wealth, but that kind of loud, newly minted wealth that lacked taste. The moment we landed, my stomach flipped violently. I barely made it to the bushes before I doubled over, retching. Classic first trimester, morning sickness that didn't care about timing or dignity. Once I was done, I straightened up, wiped the corners of my mouth with a handkerchief, and tried to gather myself. That's when I heard her. Thank God we kept your glam team on retainer. And there she was. You look terrible, darling. My mother, Vivian Drake. Her voice still had that razor-edge charm. Clipped, cutting, practiced. She lounged by the infinity pool like she hadn't aged a day since I left. More Botox than blood. More martini than warmth. Come give Mommy a hug. I forced a smile and walked across the endless green turf toward her, every step reminding me why I left this house 10 months ago. I leaned in for a stiff embrace. The chlorine from the pool hit my nose like an attack. I nearly gagged again. 10 months away, and that's the first thing you say to me? Vivian waved her hand like my comment was nothing. I would have mentioned it at your wedding, but apparently my invite got lost in the mail. Besides, tell me I'm wrong. I bet you won't. I didn't even try. She wasn't wrong. I was miserable. And it wasn't just the pregnancy hormones. Tell Mommy what's wrong. Against every instinct, I sat beside her, and the words started pouring out. I told her everything. Logan's grandfather's ultimatum, the sham marriage, Ivy, the baby he thought was gone. Every betrayal, every humiliating detail. She stirred her martini as I spoke, barely blinking. When I finished, she glanced at me over the rim of her glass. Sweetheart, men like Logan Bennett are a dime a dozen. The trick isn't finding one. It's plucking the right one at the right time. And you have. She tilted her drink toward my midsection. About 12 weeks before that becomes infinitely more difficult. I ran my hands over my stomach. She was right about one thing. This child changed everything. Meanwhile, somewhere across town, Logan Bennett knelt in the Malibu sand, trying to play Prince Charming. The setting was perfect. Private dining area, the ocean crashing behind them. Before him stood Ivy Monroe, the woman who had saved his life, as he liked to say. Thin as a reed and twice as transparent. Logan held out a ring, the same 5-carat diamond he had offered me 10 months ago. Oh my freaking God, yes, Logan, yes! Ivy squealed, her joy practically echoing off the waves. Champagne! Logan snapped at a nearby waiter. The poor guy sprinted toward the restaurant for a bottle. Ivy wasn't me. She was everything I wasn't. Adoring, submissive, flawless, not a smear of mascara on her face. Logan smiled like the world belonged to him. But I knew that smile. It didn't reach his eyes. I'd lived under it for 10 months. The waiter returned. Ivy clutched her glass like it was her birthright. To new beginnings, Logan said, though I knew his hand trembled as he lifted the glass. Ivy steadied him. To us, she replied, kissing him softly. Then she went straight into wedding planning. I'm thinking a winter wedding, Vale or the Alps. Either way, we need Kurt Van Dutch. She waved the waiter down for another round. Whatever you want, my love, Logan murmured, but his eyes locked on her hand. The ring. My ring. And there it was, that flicker of guilt. Maybe not for loving Ivy, but for how easily he discarded me. For forgetting I ever mattered. Then the paparazzi arrived, as planned. Ivy giggled and posed. Smile for the cameras, honey. Logan did as he was told. Later that evening, I lay in my childhood bed, musing over the choices that led me to rock bottom, when my phone sounded with a news alert that, while unsurprising, still stung. Logan Bennett's mystery fiancé. I scrolled through the Gossip Rags article, spying pictures of Logan with a tall brunette she was sure was Ivy Monroe. He couldn't even wait a day. Tears burned in my eyes, betraying the anger bubbling inside me. Darling, are you crying? Stop that at once! Vivian's voice sliced through my haze of emotion as she breezed into the room. In her wake followed a battalion of sharply dressed PR specialists, their tablets glowing like shields ready for battle. I barely had time to register the newcomers before they began talking over each other, tossing out buzzwords like narrative control and sympathy spin. A whiteboard appeared, populated with names, dates, and diagrams, as if my life were a corporate restructuring project. Vivian stood at the center, sipping her martini with the air of a general surveying her troops. Elena, darling, listen carefully. Vivian looked down at me as though speaking to a child. We'll leak divorce rumors first, just a whisper to pique curiosity. Then we'll place you at key events, galas, charity dinners, that sort of thing. You'll be seen with eligible suitors, nothing serious. Just enough to remind the world you're desirable. By the time your little bundle shows up, you'll be married to someone who makes Logan Bennett look like a valet. She smiled as though the plan were already in motion. I felt the walls closing in. This was the world I thought I escaped when I married Logan. People buzzing around me, maneuvering me like a piece on a chessboard. Everyone in control of my life but me. My mother's voice faded into the background, replaced by the drumming of my pulse. I looked around the room, the polished PR professionals, my mother cool and commanding as ever. The whiteboard is full of timelines that didn't feel like mine, and then I looked down at my own hands, folded protectively over my stomach. The weight of it all pressed down on my chest until it felt like I couldn't breathe. Enough. Mir voice was quiet but sharp, cutting through the din like a blade. The room stilled, all eyes snapping to me. Vivian raised a perfectly sculpted brow. Elena, darling, this is not the time for theatrics. I said enough. My voice rose, trembling but resolute. I stood, my hands clenched into fists at my sides, my nails digging into my palms as a fresh surge of anger overtook me. I thought of Logan, lying in bed with Ivy, laughing about how easy it had all been to discard me. I thought of her mother, treating me life like a board game to be won at all costs. And then I thought of the baby growing inside me, the one thing in all this chaos that was mine. This isn't your life, Mother, it's mine, and I'm not going to spend it letting other people tell me what to do. My voice was steady now, my anger sharpening into something cold and clear. We'll be handling this my way. Vivian opened her mouth to argue, but closed it again, perhaps recognizing for the first time that her daughter wasn't the same girl who'd left this house 10 months ago. I turned on my heels and walked out of the room, my head held high. As I passed one of the mansion's countless mirrors, I caught a glimpse of myself, pale, tired, but with a fire in my eyes that hadn't been there before. Logan thought he could control me. My mother thought she could shape me. They were both wrong. This time, Elena Drake was in control, and I was going to make sure the world remembered my name. That night, I slept more soundly than I had in the past 10 months. Breaking out of my meek and mild shell, reclaiming control of my life, and deciding to protect the life growing inside me, had worked wonders for my soul. When morning came, the pale sunlight streaming through the curtains felt like a spotlight, ushering me into a new chapter. Today marked the beginning of my new life. The first step in this new life required a stage, and I knew exactly where to find one. My mother's marble bathroom, immaculately lit, ridiculously opulent, became my studio. With my phone propped up against an ornate perfume tray, I launched into my very first video for Shoutback, the hottest social media app of the moment. I adjusted the angle, checked my reflection, and hit record. A smile as sharp as the edge of a diamond spread across my face. Hello to all my single ladies out there. Let's get ready together and slay the day. I call this look, showing your ex what he's missing. Like and follow for more tips. I blew a kiss to the camera, then I ended my recording. 47 takes later, I finally had it. Perfect lighting, perfect delivery, perfect aesthetic. My thumb trembled slightly, hovering over the upload button. This was it, my first shot across the bow. If it didn't land, my plan to take control of my life and get revenge on Logan could end before it even started. I took a deep breath, then hit upload. The video was live. Moments later, my phone buzzed with notifications. Comments flooded in, a tidal wave of support and intrigue. Yas, queen! Drop the skincare routine, I'm begging. Iconic! The words poured in like fuel to a fire. I felt her confidence bloom. The shot had landed perfectly. It was time to escalate. I looked to her PR team, now convened in my mother's sprawling living room. What now? Maggie Torres, the sharp-eyed, sharp-tongued publicist with a reputation for turning nobodies into legends, stepped forward. It's all about cracking the algorithm. I molded over. A 21st century solution for a 21st century problem. And how do we do that? We create the perfect persona. Enigmatic heiress, newly single, living her best life. No messy details, and no mentions of Logan. The less we say about him, the harder the punch will land. It's all about conveying power, elegance, and a life he couldn't hope to keep up with. I smirked, intoxicated by the very narrative I was crafting. Together, we curated my next moves. Yacht parties with an effortless champagne-in-hand vibe, brunches that screamed exclusivity, and jet-setting escapades documented with just the right amount of humility. My shoutback feed transformed into a highlight reel of a woman thriving, unbothered, and untouchable. And while those were the stories the public ate up, the scenes they couldn't see depicted a woman being taken to task by her first trimester, vomiting in crystal vases worth more than most cars. Exhaustion so severe I would catnap amid touch-ups between photo shoots. Pending motherhood was testing my commitment to the unbothered goddess aesthetic. But the user engagement each new post manifested was worth the discomfort. Every upload brought more hype and more intrigue. And my new persona wasn't just convincing others, it was convincing me. Each curated post, each rehearsed smile, and each carefully chosen outfit felt like bricks in the fortress I was building around herself. The vulnerable mouse like me of 10 months ago seemed like a stranger now. Or at least, that's what I told myself. Then came my biggest break yet. Elena! Maggie burst into my room, phone in hand. Game of Hearts wants you. I arched a brow. The reality dating show? But the offer to join Game of Hearts, a reality dating show, was a twist no one saw coming. Would I risk my carefully constructed image by stepping into the highly public, often unpredictable world of reality television? And what would Logan, now engaged to Ivy and seemingly oblivious to my burgeoning power, do when his ex-wife became the most talked-about woman in the country? The game had just begun, and I was ready to play for keeps. But at what cost?
Listen to the new hit audio series Queen of Hearts exclusively on Pocket FM. Download the app for free and keep listening right now.